Good evening and welcome to the Notice News Bulletin. This is Saraswati Singha bringing to you the headlines first. India is all set to host 18th G20 Summit in New Delhi beginning tomorrow. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to hold more than 15 bilateral meetings with world leaders in next 3 days. In Tripura by poll, BJP wins big, bags both Boksanagar and Dhanpur seats. CM Dr. Manik Saha addresses media on polls outcome. Nagaland is the first state in any region to directly implement World Bank financed education project. And in US Open men's doubles final, Rohan Bopanna and Matthew Ebden to face British-American pair. India is all set to host the 18th G20 Summit in New Delhi beginning tomorrow. Global leaders continue to arrive in the city to attend the summit. President of Argentina, Alberto Fernandez, President of Nigeria, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, Prime Minister of Mauritius, Pravin Jugnauth, Italian Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni have already arrived. Minister of Economy of Mexico, Raquel Buenrostro Sanchez, President of European Commission, Ursula von der Leyen, European Council President Charles Michel, Secretary General of Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development, OECD, Matthias Cormann, Managing Director of International Monetary Fund, IMF, Kristalina Georgieva, Director General of World Trade Organization, Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala have also arrived in New Delhi to attend the summit. G20 Sherpa Amitabh Kant said that one of the key takeaways of India's presidency is that the world acknowledges that India has truly revolutionized technology through the digital public infrastructure. On Chinese President Xi Jinping not attending the G20 summit in New Delhi, G20 Sherpa Amitabh Kant says China is a multilateral player. In multilateral discussions, the issues are very different from bilateral issues, and the Chinese discuss issues of growth and development from their perspective. The challenge about any multilateral discussion is you have to bring is consensus across every issue. Every country has veto power. We have been able to work with every single country and bring them on board.
India's presidency should actually be inclusive, it should be ambitious, it should be decisive, and it should be action-oriented. During this presidency, we had some broad priorities with which we started. First of which, that at a point of time when the 1/3 of the world is facing a recession, we should drive bold, sustainable, strong, and inclusive growth. The second key priority for us was to have accelerated sustainable development goal. Thirdly, we wanted the world to take the lead on green development in the context of climate action and climate finance. Our view was that global south, developing countries, emerging markets, which has been a very, very key component of India's presidency, must be able to get long-term financing and must be able to use new instruments for financing. The fifth priority of India's presidency was that we must have technological development and digital public infrastructure. And the last key priority, which the Prime Minister elucidated and which he felt very strongly about, was women-led development to bring women empowerment and gender equality.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi will hold more than 15 bilateral meetings with world leaders in the next 3 days. Sources said today Mr. Modi will hold bilateral meetings with leaders of Mauritius, Bangladesh and USA at his residence. tomorrow, in addition to the G20 meetings, the Prime Minister will hold bilateral meetings with leaders from UK, Japan, Germany and Italy. On Sunday, Mr. Modi will hold a working lunch meeting with French President Emmanuel Macron. He will do a poolside meeting with Canada and bilateral meetings with Comoros, Turkey, UAE, South Korea, European Union, European Commission, Brazil and Nigeria. A crops bazaar is being set up in Bharat Mandapam at Pragati Maidan from 8th to 10th September on the sidelines of the G20 summit in New Delhi. This crafts bazaar will showcase handicraft products from different parts of India with a special focus on one district, one product, GI tagged items and products crafted by women and tribal artisans. Delegates and international media participating in the summit will have an opportunity to visit this crafts bazaar and purchase locally sourced products. A focused Northeast stall is being set up to exhibit the exceptional handicraft and handloom items from the Northeast. Union Minister of State for Science and Technology Dr. Jitendra Singh has said that country's space program is now at an equal pace with the world's leading space agencies and the G20 presidency coincides with the country's glory in space. In an interview to Doordarshan on the eve of G20 summit in New Delhi, Dr. Jitendra Singh said that India is ready to lead the world in more ways than one. He said that G20 summit is happening in India at a time when India's flag is flying on the south pole of moon. The first time any spacecraft has landed on the farther side of the moon, and the nation's achievements in science and technology, including the success story in COVID vaccines, are being hailed across the globe.
Largely technology based, and it has to move from one level to the other. Almost 78% of funding through non-government sector. We also have a think tank which is not entirely scientific. It has academia, it has representatives from the economics world, and it has representatives also from social sciences, from humanities, so that the Indian contexts are not lost. But as we move on, we'll have to draw an optimum balance between our heritage tradition without depriving us of whatever is happening at the cutting edge technology. And that's why we have also now set up in CSIR, for example, that brings me to the other agency that we have in the government sector, something called a Traditional Knowledge Library.
In Tripura, the ruling Bharatiya Janata Party BJP emerged victorious in the September 5th by-polls to the state's Boksanagar and Dhanpur assembly seats, the counting of votes for which was held on Friday. The party's Tafazzul Hussain, with 34,146 votes, wrested the Boksanagar seat from CPIM, defeating its candidate Mizan Hussain by 30,237 votes, the Election Commission's website showed. In Dhanpur, meanwhile, the saffron outfit's Bindu Devnath with 30,017 votes defeated the CPIM's Kaushik Chanda by 18,871 votes. Total 6 rounds of counting was conducted in both segments. On both the seats, there was a direct contest between the BJP and the opposition CPIM, as two other opposition parties, the Tripura Mota and the Congress, did not fill their respective candidates. Tripura Chief Minister Dr. Manik Saha today said the Tripura by-polls result shows people's approval of development works by double-engine government in the state. Addressing media after the by-polls victory, Dr. Saha said his government will continue to make efforts for inclusive development in the state and claimed that for good developments in his regime, BJP won both the seats in the by-polls.
যে ত্রিপুরা সেখানে বক্সনগর থেকে ভারতীয় জনতা পার্টি কখনো জিততে পারেনি এবং ধনপুরে আমরা গত যে ইলেকশন হয়েছিল জেনারেল ইলেকশন 2023 আমরা জিতেছিলাম তো সবাই জানতো যে এইবারের যে ইলেকশন আমাদের মাননীয় আদরণীয় প্রধানমন্ত্রী নরেন্দ্র মোদীজির যে মার্গদর্শন সেটাকে সামনে রেখে আমরা ইলেকশন লড়েছি এবং উনার যে ডেভেলপমেন্টের যে বিষয় সেই ডেভেলপমেন্টকে রেখে আমরা সামনের দিকে আমরা এগিয়ে গেছি ডাবল ইঞ্জিনিয়ার সরকার প্রধানমন্ত্রীজির কেন্দ্রীয় সরকার এবং ত্রিপুরা সরকার যেভাবে মানুষের জন্য কাজ করেছে সেইগুলো নিয়ে আমরা মানুষের কাছে গেছি। আপনারা সবাই জানেন বক্সনগরে সংখ্যালঘু সম্প্রদায়ের সংখ্যা বেশি এবং এতদিন ধরে একটা এপিজমেন্টের যে রাজনীতি এতদিন ধরে চলে এসেছিল সেটা কিন্তু আজকের তারিখে আমরা প্রমাণ করে দিল বক্সনগরবাসী।
Assam Chief Minister Himanta Biswa Sharma today ceremonially launched the training centers to train 5,750 numbers of candidates and other schemes under Assam Skill Development Mission at a program held at Conference Hall CM Block in Janata Bhavan. The Chief Minister also launched Skill Yatra Skill Awareness Program Van Flag Off. This first of its kind initiative will cover 4 districts of Assam, Nalbari, Dorong, Kamrup and Morigaon to connect 10,000 students of classes 9 to 12 of government schools with the provision of psychometric tests and counselling of these students along with their parents and guardian for livelihood promotion. Sankalp MSTE Government of India.
আমাৰ সন্মুখত দাঙি ধৰিছে সেইটো হ'ল যে আমাৰ যিবিলাক ট্ৰেডিশনেল উদ্যোগ আছে সোণত কাম কৰা গোল্ডস্মিথ হওক কহাৰ হওক মাটিৰ কাম কৰা কমাৰ সকল হওক তেখেতসকলকো এই বিশ্বকৰ্মা আঁচনিৰ যোগেদি এটা বিশেষ প্ৰশিক্ষণ শিবিৰৰ সময়ত তেওঁলোকৰ যাতে ক্ষতি নহয় তাৰ বাবে তেওঁলোকক মাননি শেষত বেংকৰ জৰিয়তে তেওঁলোকক ঋণ প্ৰদান।
In Nagaland, with support from the World Bank, the Department of School Education launched the Nagaland Education Project, the Lighthouse Nagaland Enhancing Classroom Teaching and Resources Nectar, with an aim to improve and enhance quality and learning outcomes of government schools in Nagaland. The NEP, the Lighthouse Project, will be the first ever World Bank financed education project in the Northeast region of India to be directly implemented by a state government, i.e. Department of School Education, Government of Nagaland. Taking to his Twitter handle, Chief Minister Nephew Rio said that Nagaland Education Project, the Lighthouse Nectar, will cover 1,939 government schools. Now it's time for a commercial break. To stay tuned.
Invest in the share market, earn lakhs with guaranteed returns. This limited period offer is just for you.
Snakes have cameras in their eyes.
How can you believe this nonsense?
Aren't you doing the same thing, Dad? Nobody can promise guaranteed returns in the share market. If you see any such message, mail or ad, you can be sure it's wrong. Such schemes defraud investors and are considered a crime. I've explained this to you so many times.
सोच कर, समझ कर, invest कर.
Welcome back. Sikkim Chief Minister Shri Prem Singh Tamang laid the foundation stone of the Citizens Wellness Park at Old STNM complex on Thursday. The Sikkim government has initiated this unique and timely project, which is being carried out by Gangtok Municipal Corporation. Addressing the gathering, Chief Minister announced this project to be completed before the general elections 2024. He further announced this park as a heartfelt tribute to late Chogyal Tutop Namgyal, which upon its inauguration will proudly bear the name Chogyal Tutop Namgyal Memorial Wellness Park, ensuring that his legacy lives on and his valuable contributions are forever remembered. Rohan Bopana and Matthew Ebden to face British-American pair in men's doubles in New York in US Open Tennis. India's Rohan Bopana and his Australian partner Matthew Ebden will face defending champion British-American pair Joe Salisbury and Rajiv Ram for the title clash in men's doubles in New York tonight. 6th-seed Indo-Australian duo stormed into the final, defeating French pair of Nicolas Mahut and Pierre-Hugues Herbert 7-6, 6-2 last night. And to end the news, the main points once again. India is all set to host 18th G20 summit in New Delhi beginning tomorrow. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to hold more than 15 bilateral meetings with world leaders in next 3 days. In Tripura, by-poll BJP wins big, bags both Buksanagar and Dhanpur seats. CM Dr. Manik Saha addresses media on polls outcome. Nagaland is the first state in the Northeast region to directly implement World Bank financed education project. And in US Open Men's Doubles Final, Rohan Bopanna and Matthew Ebden to face British-American pair. And that brings us to the end of this evening's bulletin. Thank you for tuning in. Namaskar.